minutes. On behalf of the organizing committee, I heartily welcome all of you for joining us in this second day of this national webinar. Yesterday, there was also few technical glitches. We have to sort out this, and today there is also few technical issues, but we are still resolving them. And in spite of this, I heartily welcome all of you, all our esteemed guests, and all the participants. We have among us some very esteemed guests. We have with our invited speaker, Professor Jagdamba Singh, former Dean Science, former Dean, Faculty of Science, University of Allahabad, former Head, Department of Chemistry, University of Allahabad. Sir, I heartily welcome you. We have also among us our second speaker, Professor A.K. Jain, DDU, Gorakhpur University. Sir, I extremely welcome you. All of these, among these, we have also our convener, Dr. Sunanda Das, Department of Chemistry, Simple Degree College, Dr. Babita Agrawal, Department of Chemistry, Simple Degree College, Dr. Mridula Tripathi, Dr. Arti Gupta, Dr. Santosh Srivastava, Dr. Roli Srivastava, Simple Degree College, Allahabad, my all the colleagues and seniors, Dr. Praveen Kumar Singh, convener of this webinar, Dr. Arjita Srivastava, Dr. Akram Ali, Dr. Pramod Kumar, Dr. Ashok Ranjan, Dr. Ranjit Kumar, Dr. Dipanjali Pandey, Dr. Monica Singh, Ms. Himani Chaurasia, and all the faculties of other constituent colleges. I heartily welcome all of you, sir, for joining us with this national webinar. As per traditions of our college, we will start this webinar by the blessings of Goddess Saraswati. We will start prayer. Again, I welcome all of you on behalf of organizing committee. Now it is time to our first technical session to begin with our speaker for the first session is Professor Jagdamba Singh, former Dean Science, Faculty, University of Allahabad, former Head, ma'am, 1 minute, former Head, Department of Chemistry, University of Allahabad. We welcome you, sir. And for this first session, I request Dr. Mridula Tripathi, Associate Professor, Department of Chemistry, CMT Degree College, to kindly take over and proceed with the session. Ma'am, please go ahead.
Thank you, Vishal. Thank you, Vishal. A very good morning to all of you, distinguished guests, faculties, and students from different universities and colleges, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to extend you a very warm welcome to this national webinar on Insight into Fundamentals of Chemistry, organized by Department of Chemistry, CMP Degree College, University of Allahabad. In this session of national webinar, we have two eminent scientists of chemistry are with us, Professor Jagdamba Singh, former head department of chemistry at University of Allahabad, Prayagraj, and Professor A.K. Jain, Department of Chemistry, Gorakhpur University, Gorakhpur. On behalf of our chemistry department, I welcome Professor Jagdamba Singh and Professor A.K. Jain. Thank you very much, sir. You both have honored us with your precious time. I welcome all delegates, researchers, and faculties members who are joining us as we speak. Our first speaker is Professor Jagdamba Singh. Although Professor Jagdamba Singh is a very well-known personality, but still it is only fair that I present his introduction in brief. Professor Jagdamba Singh, former Dean Faculty of Science and former Head Department of Chemistry, University of Allahabad, is a renowned expert of chemistry and is greatly popular among his students. Professor Singh obtained his BSc, MSc and DPhil degree from Allahabad University. He has a long teaching and research experience in various fields. He has published more than 100 research papers in journals of national and international repute. So far, more than 35 students have completed their DPhil degree under his supervision. He is the author of more than 25 textbooks of chemistry. His books are extremely popular among undergraduate and postgraduate students across the country. Professor Singh was awarded Senior Commonwealth Academic Staff Fellowship by Chemistry Department, University of Glasgow, UK in 1985. He is also the recipient of the Indo-Hungarian Cultural Exchange Fellowship in 1988. He has recently received UGC BSR Fellowship. His academic career has been decorated with several other reputed awards and fundings. His topic for today's lecture is catalysis in organic synthesis. I request our participant raise their questions and queries in the chat section or in a Facebook comment section. Along with Zoom, the seminar is also live on our Facebook page. I request Professor Jagdamba Singh to please start your lecture.
आप सभी को मेरा नमस्कार और बहुत दिनों बाद हम लोग एक दूसरे से मुताबिक हो रहे हैं। ये समय बहुत ही खराब चल रहा है, लेकिन इस खराब समय में भी आप लोगों ने इस लेक्चर का अरेंजमेंट किया, इसके लिए आप लोगों को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और मैं डॉक्टर सुनंदा दास को विशेष धन्यवाद देता हूँ जो इन्होंने हमको इसके लिए आमंत्रित किया। मैं डॉक्टर प्रवीण कुमार सिंह, डॉक्टर विशाल श्रीवास्तव, डॉक्टर अलजिता श्रीवास्तव को विशेष रूप से धन्यवाद देता हूं जो इन लोगों ने हमको इस लायक बनाया कि मैं आप लोगों से रूबरू हो रहा हूं, क्योंकि मुझे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक के बारे में कोई बहुत विशेष नॉलेज नहीं है। बट एनीहाउ, और अब मैं अपना लेक्चर शुरू करता हूं। तो माय टॉपिक इज द कैटालिसिस इन ऑर्गेनिक सिंथेसिस। As we know very well that if we want to perform a chemical reaction in laboratory, then that reaction should fulfill two physical conditions, not a chemical condition. The first one is the thermodynamics of the reaction. That is, the delta H of reaction should be negative. And if delta H of the reaction is negative, then it does not mean that this chemical reaction will take place in the laboratory. The second most important parameter for any chemical reaction is the kinetics of the reaction. That is, reaction should completed within a reasonable time period. Say, reaction should complete in 2 minutes, in 24 days, or 1 month, but not more than that. But unfortunately, most of the reactions, especially reaction given by covalent compound, is a very, very slow, and they do not take place under normal condition. 80 to 85% chemical reactions take place only in presence of catalyst. For example, hydrogenation reaction of alkene or unsaturated compound, hydrolysis of ester amides, electrophilic aromatic substitution reaction takes place in presence of Lewis acid catalyst or proton acid catalyst. Then polymerization reactions takes place in presence of acid or in presence of base or in presence of organometallic compounds. Then manufacture of urea, manufacture of ammonia, manufacture of nitric acid, manufacture of sulfuric acid to take place in presence of certain catalyst. We know very well that our body is one of the most sophisticated laboratory in the whole universe. Thousands and thousands of chemical reactions are going on in our body. And each and every reaction takes place in presence of certain catalyst known as enzyme. So, without any doubt, we can say that especially organic synthesis, the development of organic synthesis cannot be possible without the use of catalysis. Now the question arises, what is the role of catalyst and what is a catalyst? Catalyst is a substance which alters the path of the chemical reaction, and it has no effect on any thermodynamic property of a chemical reaction. When we say path of a chemical reaction, it means catalyst should alter activation energy of the reaction without changing energy of the substrate and energy of the reactant product. If catalyst decreases activation energy of the reaction, then we know very well that catalyst is a positive catalyst, and if it increases activation energy of the reaction, then catalyst is a negative catalyst. And most of the organic reaction is carried out, or most of the chemical reactions are carried out in presence of positive catalyst. But it does not mean that negative catalyst has no importance at all. Negative catalyst is also very, very important in our daily life. Here I will put only one example, that is the hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide easily undergo dissociation reaction into water and nascent oxygen. If we want to protect, if we want to keep hydrogen peroxide for a long time, then this should be carried out in presence of negative catalyst. And for this reaction, negative catalyst is a simple molecule, that is the acetanilide. So catalyst is a very, very important in organic synthesis, and we cannot imagine organic synthesis without the use of the catalyst. First slide, please. First slide. First slide.
Sir, Yes, sir.
First slide. फर्स्ट स्लाइड। अरे यार स्लाइड शो करिए। कहाँ शो कर रही है? हमारे पास नहीं आ रही है। नो नो नो, इज नॉट कमिंग। So yeah, the slide is not visible, so I am continuing without the slide. As far as the importance of catalyst is concerned, most of the chemical reaction is carried. हाँ जी, हाँ जी। Dear.
Sir, can you see the slide?
No.
Sir, at the top of your screen, there must be an option for switch to shared content. Can you see that, sir? On the top of your screen, on Zoom screen, sir, switch to shared content. In the view option, sir.
Hello. हाँ 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 हाँ, नहीं शेयर फ्री होगी लेकिन स्लाइड नहीं है हमारे पे आ रही है। अरे हमारे में दिखे था ना। इसको ऑफ करके स्लाइड पहले लाते हैं। Okay.
Sir, can you see the slide?
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Proceed.
Okay.
Can I proceed?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely. Sir, maybe next slide.
Yeah,
Or it is
next slide, please.
okay, sir. Is it
Next,
okay?
Next,
Okay.
Next.
Okay.
Yes, next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
As far as as I told you, that catalyst is one of the very important topic in chemistry. Without catalyst, organic synthesis cannot survive. And this topic is important from the beginning of the chemistry till this stage. And the first person who coined the term chemistry was J.J. Berzelius. Next slide, please. Next, J.J. Berzelius and इसके पहले यार J.J. Berzelius,
Sir, which slide, sir?
no, इसके बाद next means only one, yeah. The term chemistry was coined by J.J. Berzelius, and for that he got Nobel Prize of the year 1812. In fact, he defined the catalyst, and that definition is not valid state. The next person, next slide please. The next chemist who got Nobel Prize in the field of catalysis was the Ostwald. In fact, Ostwald got Nobel Prize of the year 1909 on his work on the catalysis. The main theory related to catalyst has been given by this scientist. His main work was on the reversible chemical reaction, and he mentioned that catalyst only alter the activation energy of the reaction, and it has no effect on the energy of the substrate and the energy of the product. At the same time, he also mentioned that if reaction is a reversible reaction, then in that case, the reaction is not changed by the catalyst, because catalyst changes velocity of the reaction in forward direction as well as in the backward direction with the same mode. Next slide, please. Next. Then, yeah. Then the third scientist, the third chemist, organic chemist, who got Nobel Prize in this field was Paul Sabatier. In fact, Sabatier was the main person who promoted organic synthesis in the laboratory. His main reaction is still a very, very important reaction, that is hydrogenation reaction of unsaturated compound. He converted alkene into alkane by the use of finely divided metal particles. This reaction is highly stereoselective reaction and regioselective reaction. If one can hydrogenate cis 2-butene, say, by hydrogen influence of nickel, then this always gives the meso product. But if transalkene is hydrogenated, then this gives the DL mixture. This clearly shows that addition of hydrogen across carbon-carbon double bond is a stereospecific reaction. Product formation takes place by formation of cyclic transition state on the metal surface, and due to that reason, this reaction is highly stereoselective reaction. And for this work, this Sabatier got Nobel Prize of the year 1912, and this Nobel Prize, in fact, was shared by Grignard, the very well-known scientist who discovered the Grignard reagent. Next. Then the next Nobel Prize goes to inorganic chemist, that is Haber, in the year 1918 for the synthesis of ammonia from its element. And this reaction is still very, very important reaction for the synthesis of ammonia in the industry, because ammonia is one of the very important compound. It is used as a non-aqueous solvent in inorganic synthesis and organic synthesis, and it is also used as a raw material for the synthesis of nitrogen fertilizer. Although the compound is a very simple compound, but utility is of great importance. Due to that reason, the reaction, although it is a simple reaction, but is very, very important reaction. Next slide, please. Next, yeah, 2001 Nobel Prize in Chemistry was shared by 3 professors in the field of catalysis. The first one is Nayori, is a German chemist. The second one is Novels, is a Japanese chemist, and the third one is Barry Sharpless. Novels and Nayori got Nobel Prize for their work on chiral catalysis hydrogenation reaction, and Sharpless got Nobel Prize for his very well-known reaction, that is asymmetric Sharpless epoxidation. Asymmetric Sharpless epoxidation. Then 2000, this Sharpless epoxidation is very, very important reaction. This reaction is highly enantioselective reaction, and the yield of the product is up to the 90%. And this Sharpless epoxidation is carried out, as you know very well, when allyl alcohol is treated with tertiary butyl hydroperoxide, is the reagent who delivers nascent hydrogen. Titanium tetraisopropoxide is the catalyst, is a transition metal catalyst, and the reaction is carried out in presence of diethyl tartrate. And the reaction, as I told you, is a very, very stereospecific reaction. The reaction is carried out in presence of minus diethyl tartrate, then peroxide delivers nascent hydrogen, nascent oxygen from the above the plane of the double bond. And if one can use plus diethyl tartrate, then the reagent of the reaction delivers nascent oxygen from below the plane of the double bond. So one can synthesize both enantiomers corresponding to the allyl alcohol by the use of either plus DET or minus DET. So the reaction really is a highly stereospecific reaction, and this was the first example of asymmetric synthesis. The next, yeah. 2005 Nobel Prize was also given to the chemist is in the field of catalysis. The first one is a Chaumy, the second one is a Salk, and the third one is a Groves. In fact, Salk and Groves for the first time synthesize metallocarbene. Metallocarbenes, in fact, are those compounds which carbene metal-carbon double bond. Metallocarbene synthesized by Groves and Salk is stable in laboratory, is soluble in water, and at the same time is stable under hydrous condition. Groves got his Nobel Prize for the synthesis of Groves catalyst. Salk got his Nobel Prize for the synthesis of Salk metallocarbene. And these two carbenes are used as a olefin metathesis. Olefin metathesis means exchange of chemical bond between the reactant. So Groves and Salk got Nobel Prize for their contribution for the synthesis of metallocarbene, and Chaumy in fact has given mechanism of the olefin metathesis reaction. And these reactions really are very, very important in the field of polymer chemistry. Next, please. Next. Next here. Next. Yes. As I told you that these three scientists got Nobel Prize in the field of metallocarbene. Metallocarbene are those which convey carbon metal bond. In majority of the cases, the metal is either molybdenum or the metal is ruthenium. This metallocarbene is of two types, electrophilic carbene and nucleophilic carbene. When sp2 hybrid carbene is electrophilic in nature, then these carbenes are known as Fesser carbene or electrophilic carbene. When sp2 hybrid carbon of metallocarbene is nucleophilic in character, then such type of carbene is known as SAR carbene. And these are used for different purposes in organic synthesis that I will discuss later on. Next, please. Next. Yeah. Then 2010 Nobel Prize has been shared by three chemists. They used palladium as a catalyst for cross-coupling reaction in organic synthesis. For BSc student, we say that vinyl halide and aryl halide does not give nucleophilic substitution because halo group is not an active group for nucleophilic substitution reaction. But by the use of palladium zero catalyst, these vinyl halide and aryl halide gives nucleophilic substitution reaction, and that is known as a cross-coupling reaction. That is known as a cross-coupling reaction. He developed the reaction is known as heat reaction. In fact, heat reaction is a coupling reaction between alkyl halide and alkene. In this reaction, one of the vinylic hydrogen is replaced by R of RX. Here R of RX may be vinyl, may be alkenyl, may be aryl, may be benzyl, and similarly. Next slide, please. And as far as cross-coupling reaction is concerned, cross-coupling reaction is carried out between halide and organometallic compound. This R of halide may be aryl halide, vinyl halide, allyl halide, benzyl halide, and it is not necessary that nucleophilic group is only the halo group. Nucleophilic group may be also the triplet group. As far as organometallic compound is concerned, organometallic compound may be organometallic compound of zinc, organometallic compound of aluminium, organometallic compound of zirconium, organometallic compound of tin, or organometallic compound of boron. When organometallic compound is organozinc, organoaluminium, or organozinc-plutonium, then the cross-coupling reaction is known as Negiesi coupling. If organometallic compound is organoborane, then the reaction is known as Suzuki reaction. And if organometallic compound is organotin, then the reaction is still coupling. So, on the basis of previous discussion, one can very easily conclude that catalyst can be classified into the following category. This is the organometallic catalyst, transition metal catalyst, organocatalyst, visible light catalyst, nanocatalyst, and biocatalyst. Next slide, please. Next slide, next slide. Yes, I'm not here going to discuss what is a organometallic compound. If organometallic compound works as a catalyst, then the catalyst is known as organometallic catalyst. One of the most interesting thing about the organometallic compound is that they can be used as homogeneous catalysis in process where the reacting partners are present in one phase, usually the liquid phase. The success of organometallic catalyst lies in the easy modification of their environment by ligand exchange. So this is the beauty of organometallic catalysts. Next, please. Yeah, as far as organometallic is the commercial importance is given here. This is a homogeneous catalyst that we know very well. Next, please. The first catalyst which was used as organometallic catalyst in organic synthesis was the Wilkinson catalyst. In presence of Wilkinson catalyst, hydrogenation of unsaturated compound can be carried out in a homogeneous medium. And this reaction is highly stereospecific reaction because addition of hydrogen in presence of this catalyst takes place at room temperature. The reaction is highly stereospecific reaction, and the reaction also takes place under normal atmospheric condition. And for the importance of this catalyst, Wilkinson got the Nobel Prize in the field of the catalysis. Next, please. Yes. The second important organometallic compound used as a catalyst is a Nalkar complex. Nalkar complex is in fact a complex of iron, and this reaction is mainly used for the reduction of imine into amine. When unsymmetrical ketone is treated with primary amine, this leads to formation of imine. When this amine is hydrogenated by hydrogen in presence of toluene as a solvent, in presence of Nalkar's complex, the product is optically active, single enantiomer is obtained, and enantioselectivity is up to 98%, and the yield of the product is 96%. So this hydrogenation is one of the most important hydrogenation which is enantioselective. During the course of the reaction, it has been found that hydrogen, one of the hydrogen, nascent hydrogen, attacks on imine carbon from below the double bond, and the second hydrogen attack onto the nitrogen. And in this way, the amino group of the product is always above the plane of the molecule, and thus reaction is highly enantioselective reaction. And this reaction has become very, very important. Its mechanism is given in this slide. I'm not going to discuss the mechanism of this reaction because the mechanism is very, very simple one. The next one is, yes, the third organometallic compound used as organometallic catalyst is the cross metathesis reaction. When cis-alkene or trans-alkene, here the alkene is a cis-alkene, where the cis-alkene is treated with alkene in presence of groups third generation catalyst, cross metathesis reaction takes place between the substrate and between the alkene, and this leads to the formation of enantioselective cross metathesis product. And during the course of the reaction, it has been found that if alkene is a cis-alkene, then both vinyl group present on the 5-membered ring is always as a cis geometry and below the plane of the molecule. But if alkene is a trans-alkene, then in that case, both vinyl groups are above the plane of the molecule. And enantioselectivity in this particular reaction is up to the 98%, and the yield of the product is from 88% to 96%. So the reaction 2 is a very, very important from asymmetric chemistry point of view. The next one is These are the organometallic. Yes, these are the different groups catalyst. Is the first generation catalyst. This is the second generation catalyst. The third one is the third generation catalyst. These catalysts are also used for polymerization reaction, and the polymerization is known as ring opening cross metathesis polymerization reaction. When polymerization reaction is carried out in presence of groups catalyst, the polymerization is not the random polymerization. The polymerization is highly stereospecific polymerization. Highly stereospecific polymerization. Next, please. Next slide. Then the next catalyst is a transition metal catalyst. Transition metals can be used as a catalyst. Back. आगे एक slide out, please. आगे. Yeah. Back. Yeah, okay. As far as transition metal catalyst is concerned, transition metal catalyst can be used simply in the form of metal, its powder, or its coordinate compounds, but not in the form of this organometallic compound. As far as transition metal is concerned, transition metal are mainly the silver, platinum, palladium, ruthenium, rhodium, iron, nickel, cobalt, etc. The main example of the chemical reaction which takes place in presence of transition metal catalyst is a cross coupling reaction in presence of palladium, hydroformylation. As far as hydroformylation reaction is concerned, then alkene is treated with carbon monoxide and hydrogen in presence of octacarbonyl di-cobalt. Hydroformylation reaction takes place and alkene converted into aldehyde with additional 1 carbon of carbon monoxide. Then hydrogenation reaction is carried out in presence of platinum palladium reaction. Then hydroamination reaction takes place in presence of nickel and cobalt catalyst. Hydroesterification reaction too takes place in presence of nickel and cobalt catalyst. Then Austin-Kahn reaction, isomerization reaction, hydrocyanation reaction. The advantage of transition metal catalyst is that they are highly chemoselective reaction, regioselective reaction, stereoselective reaction. The yield of the product is very, very high, and catalyst can use at least 3 to 4 times, and the amount of catalyst for catalytic reaction is very, very low. So these are the advantages of the transition metal catalyst. Next. Yes, this is a simple perlenealdehyde. When unsaturated epoxide is treated with water in presence of mercuric salt, this leads the formation of perlenealdehyde, and the reaction is catalyzed by mercuric ion. Next. Then the next one is a cuprous. Back please. The next one is a replacement of hydrogen by aryl group. Replacement of please back करिएगा. क्यों बढ़ा दिया आगे? पीछे back. Yes. Then the other transition metal catalyst, one of the very important transition metal catalyst, is a Ziegler-Natta catalyst. Ziegler-Natta catalyst is a catalyst of titanium tetrachloride. When polymerization reaction is carried out in presence of titanium tetrachloride, this leads the formation of stereoselective polymerization reaction. The second reaction is a titanium-based catalyst in organic synthesis, that is when thioamide having at least one alpha hydrogen is treated with aldehyde in presence of one equivalent of titanium chloride as a catalyst, then this gives beta hydroxyamide. The reaction is highly enantioselective reaction. During the course of the reaction, the methyl group present on alpha carbon and the conversion of keto group into hydroxy group is always in the same plane, and they are always below the plane of the molecule. So this reaction is similar to the aldol addition reaction. This reaction is a बैक करिए जनाब.
So this one.
जब हम कहें तब बढ़ाया करिए प्लीज. Here. But when the same substrate is treated with titanium tetrachloride in presence of amine base, and if titanium tetrachloride is of 2 equivalent, then in that case, that is always the same product. But here, the methyl group and hydroxy group are above the plane of the reaction. And the next important reaction is the McMurray reaction, when alpha omega ketone is treated with titanium trichloride in presence of lithium aluminum hydride. This leads the formation of cyclic alkene. And by means of this reaction, one can synthesize from 4-membered alkene to 38-member cyclic alkene. So the reaction is very useful for the preparation of cycloalkene of higher number of carbon. Next. Next. Yeah. We have discussed this organometallic compound as a catalyst and transition metal as a catalyst. The main drawback of these two catalysts is the presence of transition metal or metal in the catalyst. And transition metals are not very important from environmental chemistry point of view, from beam chemistry point of view. Majority of the metals are hazardous to our health. Due to that reason, chemists invented organic compound as a catalyst, and organic compound when work as a catalyst, they are known as a organometallic catalyst. These organometallic catalysts are very, very important because they are biodegradable. If there is no hazardous problem. And majority of the organometallic catalysts are very simple catalysts. For example, acetic acid can be used as a catalyst. Formic acid can be used as a catalyst. Oxalic acid can be used as a catalyst. Malonic acid can be used as a catalyst. Simple amine, secondary amine and tertiary amine can be used as a catalyst. And some amino acid, especially proline, can be used as a catalyst. Some optically active alkaloid can be used as a catalyst. And the main advantage of these organocatalysts is they are not expensive, they are easily accessible, stable to air and moisture. And the main advantage of these catalysts is that they are biodegradable. Next slide, please. Next slide. Here is one of the very simple reaction is intermolecular allyl reaction. When ketone is treated with allyl alcohol ester of allyl alcohol in presence of palladium 0 and a secondary amine. This leads the formation of alpha beta, sorry, this leads the formation of gamma delta unsaturated ketone, and reaction takes place at alpha carbon. And the next, I'm not doing, this reaction is not a stereoselective reaction. The next one, please. Yeah. Nowadays, NSC-mediated reactions are carried out in the laboratory. NSC-mediated reactions, in NSC-mediated reaction, there is a reversibility of the nature of the compound. Electrophilic center converts into nucleophilic center, and nucleophilic center converts into electrophilic center. We know very well that when alpha beta unsaturated ketone is treated with a nucleophile, this gives the conjugate addition reaction, that is the Michael addition reaction. In this reaction, nucleophile attack onto the terminal vinylic carbon and electrophile attack onto the inner vinylic carbon. Although the addition is 1,4 addition, but the addition takes place on the carbon-carbon double bond. But if the same reaction is carried out in presence of N-heterocyclic carbene, then in that case, there is a reversibility in the reaction. Electrophile attack on the terminal vinylic carbon and nucleophile attacks onto the inner vinylic carbon. So this reaction is very useful reaction for the conversion of alpha beta unsaturated ketone into saturated ketone, in which electrophile goes onto the terminal vinylic carbon and a nucleophile goes onto the inner vinylic carbon reaction. The next one, please. Next slide. Yes.
Next.
Yeah. The second, if aldehyde or ketone having alpha hydrogen is treated with aldehyde, we know very well in presence of acid or base, they undergo aldol addition reaction, that is a beta hydroxycarbonyl compound, but this reaction is not a stereospecific reaction. When the same reaction is carried out, in presence of pyridine derivative, then aldol addition reaction takes place. This addition reaction is highly stereospecific reaction, in which the alkyl group is below the plane of the molecule and hydroxy group is above the plane of the molecule, and the reaction is highly di-stereoselective reaction. Next, please. Next, leave this, leave. Next. Was we are far away with the time. Next, please. Next, these are the reactions which are taking place in presence of. Yeah, please, back. बैक करिएगा एक स्लाइड और पीछे करिए और पीछे या go आगे yes we taught one reaction especially for the undergraduate student when carbonyl especially ketone or aldehyde is treated with 1,3-thiol. This leads the formation of 1,3-dithiene. 1,3-dithiene is a very important synthetic organic reagent in the laboratory. And this 1,3-diene, due to deep again converted into the carbonyl compound. And the deprotection is carried out by hydrolysis, and the reaction is catalyzed by mercuric ion. Mercuric ion is not very good for our health point of view. That is injurious to health this pollute our atmosphere, our soil. But the same reaction can carried out by a simple organometallic, by simple organocatalyst, and in this case, the catalyst is simply the oxalic acid. When 1,3-diethyene is treated with oxalic acid, 1,3-diethyene undergoes deprotection and 1,3-diethyene converts into original carbonyl compound. This has great synthetic importance in organic chemistry because this is one of the examples of green synthesis. This is one of the examples of the green synthesis. Next, please. Next. Yes. Next. 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 Yeah.
This one.
Nowadays we are using, back करिएगा एक स्लाइड. हाँ. Nowadays majority of the organic synthetic chemists using photocatalytic reaction. Somebody has idea that when we use visible light, then visible light behave as a photocatalyst, but that is not true. Photocatalyst is a substance who does not work as a catalyst in absence of visible light, but works as a catalyst in presence of visible light. So the photocatalysts are those substances. Photocatalysts are those substances which works as a catalyst in presence of visible light. And the reaction takes place in presence of photocatalyst is always the single electron reaction. Photo-induced single electron transfer reaction can only be possible if our reaction is a bimolecular reaction or polymolecular reaction, and one of the substrate is either electron donor or electron acceptor. The mechanism of the photo-induced single electron transfer reaction is very, very simple. When photocatalyst is irradiated by visible light, it undergoes from ground state to excited state. This excited may be either in the form of singlet state or in the form of triplet state. That depends on the efficiency of intersystem crossing phenomena. So the excited photocatalyst, say our substrate is electron donor, then react with electron donor. So this electron donor gives one electron to photocatalyst, and thus photocatalyst convert into radical anion, and electron donor convert into radical cation. This radical cation react with second mole of the substrate to give catalyst radical anion and substrate radical cation, and in this way radical cation then converts into product DS. The same thing is also happens with when substrate is electron acceptor. In case of electron acceptor, formation of photocatalyst radical cation and radical anion corresponding to the substrate, and this radical anion of the substrate transfer its one electron to the catalyst and gives the product. Next, please. Next. 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 Yes. As far as photocatalyst is concerned, in majority of the cases, photocatalyst mainly used as organic compound is eosin Y. Eosin Y on irradiation by visible light converts into the triplet state, and then this triplet state initiates the reaction, and the mechanism of reaction is always the Okay, next, next, next. Yeah, then as far as the second important photocatalyst, right, back करिएगा, and the other photocatalysts are the transition metal complexes. The transition metal complexes are mainly the ruthenium complexes and the iridium complexes. Some complexes is shown in this slide. And the beauty of these catalysts is that electronic nature of these catalysts and efficiency of these catalysts can be enhanced by changing the ligands present on the metal. And it has been found that ruthenium-2 is a weaker oxidant and is stronger reductant, whereas iridium-3 complex is a stronger oxidant and weaker reductant. Next. Next. These are the reactions in which photocatalyst is used. Next, please. The nanocatalyst, I'm not going to discuss nanocatalyst. Next, please. Next, next. Yeah, these are the application of the nanocatalyst in asymmetric synthesis, in reduction reaction, in oxidation reaction, CH activation reaction, environmental application, and oxidative esterification reaction. Next. Next, leave this. Next. Next, next, next. Yeah, enzyme as a catalyst. Enzyme is one of the very important group of catalysts. We know very well about enzyme, so I'm not going to discuss about the enzyme. I'm here, will show you only one reaction which takes place in the presence of catalyst. Yes. Next, next please. Next. 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 Yeah, these are the enzymes. Yeah, please. I'm going to discuss only one reaction. Glucose is a raw material from the biomass. When glucose is treated with E. coli, it converts into dehydrocyclic acid. Although dehydrocyclic acid cannot be isolated from the reaction mixture, as soon as the formation dehydrocyclic acid takes place, this dehydrocyclic acid again in presence of E. coli it converts into muconic acid. Muconic acid is a diene dicarboxylic acid having the cis geometry, not the trans geometry. So it's a very, very important phenomena is the geometry of the product. And as you know very well, that muconic acid is one of the raw materials synthesized from glucose or synthesized from starch into adipic acid. The adipic acid is used as a raw material for the synthesis of nylons, different type of nylons. The next. Then the Baeyer-Bilger oxidation. Baeyer-Bilger oxidation takes place in monooxygenase. And one of the very important reaction is a benzoin condensation. Generally, benzoin condensation was carried out in presence of cyanide ion, but nowadays benzoin condensation is carried out by the use of NASC. And one of the natural NASC is the vitamin B1. So in presence of vitamin A1, benzaldehyde converts into benzene, and the yield is a very, very good. So these are some examples of biocatalysts. Next, please. Yeah. I'm going to discuss in very brief the work done by my group. We synthesize different type of heterocyclic compounds in presence of catalyst, and we use catalyst, mainly the photocatalyst or the organocatalyst. Mainly the photocatalyst or organocatalyst. I will show only the slide, and I'm not going to discuss because references are given in the bottom of the slide. If anybody is interested, then one can note that in references and go to those references. Yes, please, next slide. Next. Yeah. The first one is a visible light promotes synthesis of dihydropyranol 2,3-C chromones via multi-component tandem strategy under solvent-free and catalyst-free condition. So here, the reaction takes place in presence of visible light, and one of the substrate itself works as a catalyst. So there is no need of putting the catalyst on the outside. Next, थोड़ा सा ऊपर करिएगा, ऊपर ऊपर, थोड़ा सा ऊपर, इसको ऊपर करिए जिससे रेफरेंसेस आ सके. रेफरेंसेस
The references are seen here. You can see the. We can see references.
Yeah. Okay. If you are seeing, and the next is a dihydropyrin. This work has already been published in Sun Journal. I'm unable to see that one, so please, sorry for that. Next mechanism I'm not going to discuss. This is given. Then the next one is the oxidative organophotoredox catalyst, a regioselective synthesis of 2-nitro-substituted midazopyridine and 3-substituted indoles initiated by a visible light. In this reaction, when beta-aryl alpha-beta unsaturated nitro compound is treated with amine, unsaturated compound is treated with amine. In presence of eosine, this gives 2-nitro-substituted imidopyrazine, but when the reaction is carried out in absence of eosine, then the product is a 3-substituted indole. So in presence of eosine, the product is a different one, and in presence of in absence of eosine, product is a different. So the reaction is important one, and the reaction is carried out in metal-free catalyst condition. Next, please. These are the compounds synthesized by this method. The yield of our synthesized compound is a very, very high. Next. And the mechanism. In this case, since reaction is photochemical reaction taking place in presence of eosine or in absence of eosine, the mechanism is a free radical mechanism. Next. The next one is a synthesis of thiazole and imidazole thiazole in presence of visible light. Yes, when alpha bromoketone is treated with amine, this leads to the formation of this product. When treated with thiourea, this leads to the formation of other product 5 and product 3, and these reactions are carried out in presence of water and alcohol as a solvent, and the reaction takes place in presence of visible light. Next. This is the possible mechanism of the product formation. Next. Then the next one is this reaction is carried out in presence of organocatalyst and be used for the first time. Maleic acid as a catalyst for the synthesis of quinoline. When aromatic alpha aminoketone is treated with ketone in presence of Maleic acid. This leads to formation of substituted quinoline. And we found that different type of quinoline can be synthesized by use of this method, and the yield of the product in most of the cases is very good. Next. These are the compounds synthesized. These are the quinoline derivatives synthesized in laboratory. If you see these, then you will find that the yield of product in most of the cases is very good, from 8% to 88%. Next. This is the possible mechanism for the reaction. The reaction is ionic mechanism, not the free radical mechanism. And next one, please. Yeah. Synthesis of noble fused heterocycle oxazoamphetamine and anthracinidine derivative via sequential one-part synthesis in aqueous micellar system. This reaction is very, very important reaction because the reaction is sequential reaction. So I want to tell you how one can know whether the reaction is completed or not. When all the three components are mixed together, then product formation does not take place. But when isoquinoline is treated with alpha bromoketone, then SCN2 reaction takes place between these two, and as soon as the substitution product takes place, the colorless solution converts into yellow in color. So why this yellow color generated, we are unable to explain. But as soon as the formation of yellow color appears, this clearly shows that first step is completed. When in this yellow color solution, when oxirane is added, then this leads the formation of desired product. And as soon as reaction completed, the whole solution converts into the pink. Again, we are still unable to explain why as soon as reaction completed, pink color appears. But the reaction is sequential reaction, and sequential reaction is not a very, very common reaction. It is one of the reactions which we perform in the laboratory. Next, please. Next slide. Next, yeah, is the mechanism of the reaction. The first step is the SCN2 reaction. Here, CTAB and water is used so that these two substances should be come in the solution phase. When this dipolar species is treated with oxirane, then this gives the desired product. Next. Okay. Khatam?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, एक बार स्लाइड सारी आप दिखा दीजिए.
नेक्स्ट कर दूं सर?
नेक्स्ट करते जाइए क्योंकि समय खत्म हो गया है.
ओके सर.
ओके. सो
Sir, can I proceed further?
Yeah. So these are the work which are carried out in my laboratory, and nowadays we are doing synthesis of heterocyclic compounds catalyzed either by organocatalyst or by the photocatalyst. Yes, thanks for the audience. आप लोगों ने इतनी देर सुना. Very, very thanks to you people. Okay.
Thank you, sir. There is one question from Abhishek Yadav. He is asking, why palladium is used in cross coupling reaction.
Yes, palladium form complex with the substrate, which reduces activation energy of the reaction too much, and that's why reaction takes place. If the reaction is carried out in absence of palladium, then it is very difficult to replace nucleophilic group as a leaving group from vinylic carbon or from aryl carbon or from allylic carbon. It simply reduces the activation energy of the reaction, and mechanism of the reaction is given in every book. Product formation takes place, but its only role is to reduce the activation energy of the reaction.
Thank you, sir.
Any other question?
No, sir. Thank you, sir. It was a very informative lecture. You have shared a vast amount of knowledge on organic synthesis. We are extremely thankful to you, sir. Sir, मैं हमारे यहाँ जूम में जितने भी अलग अलग स्टेट से लोग जो जुड़े हैं, प्रोफेसर्स और बच्चे, सबको मैं धन्यवाद कहना चाहूंगी जिन्होंने हमारी इस कॉन्फ्रेंस को के साथ जुड़ करके हमारी इस कॉन्फ्रेंस को काफी वैल्यूएबल और सक्सेसफुल बनाया है। सभी को मैं धन्यवाद भी कहना चाहूंगी और मेरे साथ प्रोफेसर के उपाध्याय BHU से हैं, उनको भी थैंक्स बोलूंगी और प्रोफेसर जानवी सिंह हैं, हमारे प्रिंसिपल साहब भी शायद हमसे जुड़ गए हैं, उनको भी मैं थैंक्स कहूंगी। और सर आपने काफी अच्छा लेक्चर दिया, मैं चैट बॉक्स में देख भी रही थी, काफी लोगों ने बहुत अच्छा लिखा है कि काफी इंफॉर्मेटिव सेशन है ये। कई लोगों ने इस पर काफी ये भी कहा है कि ऐसा नॉलेज उन्होंने कभी आज तक कहीं बुक्स में नहीं पढ़ा जो आपने बताया, इसके लिए आपको पुनः धन्यवाद देती हूँ। और as we proceed further now, I would like to hand over the mic to our co-host, Dr. Akram Ali.
Yes, 1 minute please.
Yes.
Yes, एक बात, जो MSc के स्टूडेंट हैं, मैंने देखा है आज MSc के स्टूडेंट भी हैं, उनको मैं एक क्वेश्चन दे रहा हूँ कैटलिस्ट पर, वो इसका आंसर सर्च करेंगे। जब न्यूली बॉर्न बेबी फीड का मिल्क फीड करता है तो शुरू में वो ओमिट कर देता है मिल्क को। न्यूली बॉर्न बेबी जब मिल्क पीता है, मदर मिल्क या काऊ मिल्क, तो वो ओमिट करता रहता है और ये 3-4 महीने तक चलता है और मदर कहती है कि इसको मिल्क डाइजेस्ट नहीं हो रहा है। ओके, बट द आंसर ऑफ दिस क्वेश्चन इज रिलेटेड टू द कैटलिस्ट। व्हाट इज द आंसर व्हाई न्यूली बॉर्न बेबी ओमिट मिल्क? BSc और MSc स्टूडेंट के लिए।
थैंक यू सर। ओके सर, प्रणाम।
Thank you, ma'am. A very good afternoon to all of you. I, Dr. Akram Ali, Organizing Secretary of this webinar, on the behalf of Organizing Committee of this webinar, I warm welcome to our all distinguished faculty members, all guests, and dear participants in this 3-day national webinar entitled Insight into the Fundamental of Chemistry, organized by Department of Chemistry, CMP PG College, University of Allahabad, Prayagraj. First of all, I am very grateful to our department convener, Dr. Sunandas Madam, to give me this opportunity. Now we have Professor Jaising sir with us. I warm welcome with you, sir. Now we have our next speaker, Professor Abhay Kumar Jain. I extremely welcome you, sir. I present here to give a brief introduction of our next speaker, Professor A.K. Jain. Professor Jain is a very senior professor. It is my immense pleasure to introduce Professor A.K. Jain. Professor Jain is presently the Vice Chairman of UP Jain Vidyasodh Sansthan, Sanskrit Vibhag, Lucknow. During his long teaching experience, he has taught in various colleges and has been associated with Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gorakhpur University since 1998 till 2013 when he retired, and now he is a visiting guest faculty in the Department of Chemistry, Lucknow University. Professor Jain obtained his PhD degree from HBTI Kanpur. He has published several research papers in the field of non-equilibrium thermodynamics of transport process across soil, polymer, and biological membranes. He is the author of 7 textbooks. Professor Jain is actively associated with different societies and academics. Professor Jain received many projects and it is associated with multiple scientific society. His topic for today's lecture is chemical ethics. Now, sir, I extremely welcome you. Kindly go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Akram. You have given a nice introduction for a person who has retired long back, 7 years back. I am thankful to the organizing committee, Dr. Sunanda, Praveen Singh, and all the colleagues of the Department of CMP, and my old colleague, Professor Jagdamba, because I have been also associated in the University of Allahabad as a reader for 5 years here continuously. Why I have chosen this topic is itself needs an answer. The chemical ethics, the field in which I worked for the last 42 years, or you can say plus 40 years, that is the field of the thermodynamics, and in particular the field of the irreversible thermodynamics. The thing which starts anywhere in the life, which we would like to communicate to any other one, it generates low energy state always. So whatever the system was started, and the very first lecture which you have heard, Professor Jagdamba said very simply, we need delta G minus. Why we need delta G minus? I will not answer so many questions. I will come to my topic by itself, because certain things are very important and relevant, which are not being given to the students, which are never been distributed amongst the books, and also not written, and also the people who are interested to create certain kind of these conferences, there they also hide and seek game, because nobody would like to tell you the particular kind of the thing which he is doing in his laboratory. So what I would like to say, that ethics always tell us very important feature, that whatever I am doing, it is not to be published, but to be told to everyone as well. Whatever I have done, I always had given in my lectures, more than thousands lecture I had given in various places. But today I am sure that I am associated with one organization where I went 2 times in my life also to conduct the practical examination, not to deliver the lecture. When we talk about the ethics, traditionally what chemistry is, the chemistry which we generally talk about is a transformation of the material from one kind to the another kind. And during this process of transformation, what did happen? We generally observe certain amounts of the molecular changes, atomic changes, the configurational changes, as you have seen in the last chapter. But even then, whatever we are learning here is that we start from initial to the final stage. In our daily life, we do not know what is the initial and what is the final. When we have been born to die, we never know what is the reality of this life. And this reality is in fact tells us about the actual position of the initial state. Initial state is a very low energy state. And when you are talking about the low energy state, that means you are stable. And when you go to the high energy, ultimately you cannot remain for a long time at the high energy. You have to come back and you have to settle down with the lower energy once again. Why I'm saying this thing? Because we have the 3 kinds of the structure in our life, apart from the other structures which you also know. The one is the solid, other is the liquid, and the gas. Now the molecular structure in all these systems are also associated with the part of the energy. If we confine to the part of the energy, we should understand very importantly that low energy systems are always favored. If we are going to the low energy system, that are always favored. Why we talk about this? We only tell you about when you go to the final state. The final state will be associated either with the deplete of the heat energy or associated with the heat energy. In case we are taking the two kinds of these energy, what will happen? Delta H positive or delta H negative. I'm not going into this detail. But whatever is there, the process can occur only when there is a delta H change, delta G change. So thermodynamics parameter plays an important role. But obviously, very important feature which comes out, that nowadays we are facing a very acute problem all over the world, that we generally call the COVID problem or COVID-19 problem or SARS-2 problem, whatever it is. The people who are around us, for the last 4 months, I am observing with the people, I am interacting with the people at this age even, I am going to the market, I am going to the institution, I am going to the university as well. Everyone is afraid of. Why they are afraid of? Our ethics cannot tell. One example I am quoting. I will go ahead. The first example is that you take the spray out everything. Make the neat and clean, like you are seeing that spraying is occurring everywhere. But nobody knows what is being sprayed. Most of the people said it is the ethyl alcohol. Most of them say this is something alcohol. Most of them say the chemicals. And this had happened even in the university campus. I just told them, it is a very simple thing. Anybody who is from the commerce side, anybody who is from the labor side, a labor who is putting the medicine there in the name of the medicine, he is knowing the name of that chemical, sodium hypochlorite. But we are not knowing, because we say that alcohol can kill. But what is happening there? A simple reaction occurs. I am not going into detail. Simple reaction. The active chlorine is formed. So what is nascent chlorine? That will kill everything. One of my fellow residing near to my home, he came once upon to me. ये सर क्या दे दिया आपने? इससे तो मेरा पेंट खराब हो गया. So what is that is? That is dissolving that particular part of the protein which is present in the paint. So ethical values of every system. I am coming to the point now. When we used to give the medicine to anybody, when we prepare the medicine, we are the chemists who are responsible for this purpose. We have done a lot of work in the drug action. We have given a hypothesis in the drug action. We call that the membranes, they take the liquid, they take the medicine, our test buds, they enhance it and then finally consumed it, or it can go intravenous as well. Whatever is there, but the medicine is given to the person. But whether the medicine is useful or not. Now in this COVID world, what I am telling you, why I am saying ethics this. Some of the people in the America saying, without consulting to the doctor himself, we are giving the hydroxychloroquine. Why? What is the need? Do you know it will kill our kidney system as well? So this is most important feature, that whatever the chemical we prepared, we should also know the action of that chemical, whether it is a poison for us, whether it is a use or it is a abuse. So you can demarcate the medicines in two parts, the chemical reaction in two parts. In our body, thousands and thousands reactions are occurring. All these reactions are dynamic reactions. They are generating the energy, they are absorbing the energy. But whatever the energy is produced, that is used by our human body. How many of us we know? Say only RNA, DNA, RNA, DNA. RNA, DNA तो एक ऐसी बला है जिसको राजनीतिक इस्तेमाल कर लेते हैं. कहते तुम्हारा डीएनए खराब, तुम्हारा डीएनए अच्छा है. मैं आपको एक चीज बता दूं, डीएनए एक ऐसी चीज है जिससे कि आप आदमी में आदमी का फर्क बता देते हैं. इसलिए हम डीएनए की बात न करें. हम लोग भारतीय में हिंदी में बोले दे रहा हूं, हम लोग डीएनए की बात न करें, हम लोग उसकी बात करें कि ब्लड का रंग लाल होता है, वो किसी का भी हो सकता है. The chemical constitution of these compounds. Now people say, why we are interested in these compounds? देखिए, generally the compounds which we are using, I am giving only two examples. One example, you know that this is a poison. Sodium thiosulfate is generally given to the food preservative. If it is made in the excess or prepared with things, sound is coming. It's coming in that system. What will happen? It will give you the poisonous character, even the cancer can develop. Why this is happening? Because initially the research 5,000 years back, the research which was done in the chemistry was having the aesthetical values and ethical values. It was done for the people, and save the people. But today it is the earning and only earning. And therefore, most of the medicinal companies and everything, you know that something which you can say in our laboratory, I prepared in 1 rupee, and that is being sold in 1,000 rupees in the market. One example that I am quoting HPTI, Kanpur. One of my colleagues was in the organic chemistry. He told me that, what are you doing? I am doing irreversible thermodynamics. You are doing nothing. What are you doing? I am preparing the cream. He prepared the hectoclamine, bilkul replica, and it costed only 1 rupees and 2 pies at that time. And the market 250 ml at that time in 1973 was sold around 50 rupees. The chemist can generate anything with their aesthetical and ethical values. Now we come to another point. People say the gases should not be destroyed. There are some gases which are destroyed. We were knowing only very little chemicals initially. Now we know many chemicals. And if you take the combination and permutation, then CRC books are being filled. Still every year there are coming lakhs and lakhs compounds. But what is the utility of those compounds? Today we are having the digital system. Today we are having the computer system. Today we are having the softwares. Now what that software has to do? Everybody is trying to create a medicine. A targeted medicine is being prepared, can be prepared. It can be signaled, it can be simulated in the system itself. But nobody is going for that. What they are doing? Something we have to replace. Instead of chlorine, we can put this and a new compound will be generated. Okay, it will be done. No doubt. For research and purpose, it can solve, but nothing new will come up. The challenging which I faced, it was 1974 when I attended the meeting at NPL, New Delhi. I am quoting example because I want to tell you something about ethics rather than the chemistry. So I went there, the Japanese were there, the Americans were there, and the lecture was on the alternative source of the energy. That's a good lecture. Number of lectures I attended. After 8 years, when we are coming to the concluding part, I was only a 23 years old person, very new amongst all those. But I rose my hand that I would like to ask one question. I asked, would it be possible for us to even lit a bulb of 1.5 volt out of this research? The answer came from the other side. Let us wait. It will come. And today we see it has come. We are having the lot of solar energy power. Then similarly, there was a challenge, alternative source of energy. The thing came to me also. We were doing in the membrane system, whether the membrane can generate energy or cannot generate energy. So none of my elders, Professor R.P. Rastogi, respected, who died, my teacher, Professor R.C. Srivastava, when I went to them, if we can generate energy out of this membrane, they laughed. They laughed and laughed. It is not possible. But what I said them, when we talk about the Ohm's law, we say linear relation between the current and voltage. It's a very simple, but nothing is happening otherwise. The wire in which the current is flowing, it is heated. That means one kind of the energy is transferred into another and also in another. So what you have applied, the electrical current we were observing, but heat energy also generated. Similarly, if you apply the thermoosmosis system, we are applying the temperature, but heat flow should occur. But what happens? The liquid also flows. Happens the thermoosmosis system. So coupling of one process to another, that is one kind of the force and another kind of the flux. Another kind of the force and one kind of the flux. That is, if we call J1, I say simply J1 is the flux. So जा रहा है, membrane से pass हो रहा है, and X1 is the force driving it. So X1 is driving J1 and J2 is also driving. So what J2 will do? J2 will generate a pressure. What we call the osmotic pressure, thermoosmotic pressure, electroosmotic, it will generate pressure. Now, equal to that pressure when we come equal to that pressure, what happens actually? We have no flow condition. Now, this is the steady state. We generally say steady state, that is a dynamic equilibrium always. So there is a difference between the equilibrium and the steady state. We people do not say this in the class or in the laboratory or in the research work also. So basically, we forget the ethics to teach my student as well. What I am suggesting is steady state when we talk. I recall your attention to one of the experiments which you have done and read in the 8th class. That experiment was the thermometers were there, 4 thermometers. And in all those thermometers at 42-degree temperature, the flow of the liquid took place. What will happen? The thermometer at 1 feet, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, would they have the same temperature? No. The nearer to that junction will have the higher temperature, and as you proceed further to the tube, it will lower down the temperature. What is happening? This is the steady state. Why it is a steady state? Try to understand, very important. Force is driving is completely there. Because you are giving the heat energy to. If you withdraw the heat energy, what will happen? All thermometer will read the room temperature. This is the equilibrium. Equilibrium exists when there is no force. And steady state occurs when the force is applied there. Now I am coming to that situation. So our system is an open system, a natural system. All open and the natural system occur in the entire system. The irreversible part is occurring, which cannot be reversed upon. The very good thing comes to our mind also. For a biology students who must be present over there, and the biology research people must also be there. If you talk about the steady state, what is happening? You take a growth curve, whether in the botany or in the zoology. Initially, it is with the time not increasing too much. It is just leveling, and then it suddenly go high, go high, go high, go high. At that certain height, it starts flattening. For COVID, we are waiting that flattening curve should come out. Initially increasing, going to the top, and then flattening. Now, this curve is divided in 3 parts. The monotonic increase. Now you take your childhood, when you were sleeping in the laps of your mother. माँ की गोद में सोते थे, कुछ नहीं पता था मेरी ग्रोथ कितनी होती थी, कभी साल में, 2 साल में, 3 साल में, 4 साल में, कुछ बढ़ा कुछ बढ़ा कुछ बढ़ा, फिर ये हुआ कि साल के साल अब बढ़ते गए, 2 इंच करके बढ़ते गए, फिर अल्टीमेटली क्या हुआ, फाइनली 25 साल की उम्र में हम बढ़ ही नहीं रहे, हमारी हाइट ही नहीं बढ़ रही, हमारा वेट नहीं बढ़ रहा. We generally used to say this is the steady state. This is the steady state. So we have to attain always steady state in our life. Force, if they are withdrawn, flux, if it is stopped, what will happen ultimately? The only word which you can say that the equilibrium will exist, and true equilibrium is the death of a person. So always we are having the dynamic equilibrium. So what I am telling you about the dynamic equilibrium. Now, most important feature in the medicinal chemistry too, when we were propagating the hypothesis of the liquid membrane hypothesis for the drug action, the sites are being created. It is generally being said up to, आप लोगों को पता होगा, you must be knowing all very well, 2000 million cubic volume is required for the COVID virus. When entered in the body, then it can react, otherwise it cannot. The simple answer one can think. We are all chemists, we can think. Law of mass action is very important. Until and unless minimum mass which is not achieved, no reaction will take place. Then the receptor in our body, if the receptor are accepting it with the bifurcating energies, then it can act, otherwise it can repel. So what you call the immunity of a person. So what I am saying in a very simple form, that whatever the system is coming in our body, it requires an additional part of energy. If that energy is lowered, it will attack. If that energy is higher, it will not attack. What we are taking, we are saying this chemical, that chemical, Ultimately, what had happened? This inorganic, the periodic table element of the fifth group, arsenic, which you call the 15th group now. Arsenic is used as a medicine. How many of us know about the arsenic? If I say, I'm very correct to say, because I do not know much reaction about the arsenic, as the people should know. So what I am saying, that whenever we talk about the chemistry, the full chemistry can be achieved by the ethical values. Whatever ethics is not only the medicinal side. Whatever we are doing, we are performing, other person are understanding or not. If the other person are able to understand your part, your way of doing the things. People say, I prepared indigenously this thing. You take a patent then. Why you are publishing a paper? If you are publishing a paper, you should disclose each and every point. And this is the difficult time for any student or teacher or professor to publish a paper, because you have to disclose many things there, which we have never disclosed. And therefore, once you disclose this thing, then paper will not be published because you do something new. That is what is happening. We are saying that we are not getting good publication. Initially, I have changed 4 times my branches, as has been read out. Irreversible thermodynamics applicable to the clay system. Clay means soil system. Soil में मैंने उसको test किया. Then extended to the system which you can call the biological system, the mimicking membranes, the drug action out of those mimicking membranes, and then we finally energy converter out of those membranes. And finally, what we have done, the very original work which has been done in the University of Allahabad itself. So I am just sharing before I conclude my lecture. As you all know, benzene and alcohol, ethyl alcohol particularly, they are having the azeotropic boiling temperature and azeotropic mixture as well. Separation of these two chemicals is not possible by simple distillation or fractional distillation method. Even by evaporation, not possible. A simple experiment, just try to understand, I am just slowing down so I can explain. There was a membrane, a sintered glass membrane we put in between. On one side, we have put the ethyl alcohol and the benzene mixture. On the other side, we have put the ethyl alcohol. What will happen? Benzene is a non-polar substance. Although it is 100% miscible with the alcohol, which is a polar substance. Now we want to separate benzene from the alcohol. What we have to do? We have to transport the alcohol from the mixture of the benzene. So I have shown in Journal of Membrane Science, I have took 4 years. See the patience you required also. 4 years to publish that paper in the Journal of Membrane Science, which is having now the impact factor around 7. In that journal, 3 years, I have satisfied 19 editor's choice referees. They say that mixture is being formed. How does it possible that it can be separated? I just shown in my experiment itself, on the desk scale experiment itself, that one of the alcohol molecule drags 2.5 molecules of the benzene. This I have shown in that paper. What facility was with me? Only we were having, not even the spectrophotometer. I was having the refractive index meter only. And the liquid refractive index and plotting a graph, we obtain such results. My young chaps, I have to attend another meeting. I have told the Praveen also. I would like to say many things, but I consider it a virtual. It's a digital platform nowadays. How long it will continue, we never know. But only thing is that whatever we learn during our life, we should share it. The first ethic of the life. If you are closing yourself, then it will happen. Then if you are solving any problem, then you go to Professor Jagdamba, he will tell you. Or you go to Professor H.P. Tiwari in Allahabad, he will solve it. Or you go elsewhere in T.N. Misra in Gorakhpur University, we should be prepared to answer the question. This is only possible when we maintain the chemical ethics in our mind. So thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you very much to all the participants who are present over here in this digital system at the Facebook and all digital connections. Thank you very much, the head of the department and organizing secretary, as well as to all who had given the patient hearing to this lecture. And I again request to all to my colleagues and younger generation who is in the research, share the research. It will be always fruitful. If you are not sharing the research, then you will investigate the medicine for the COVID for years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your very interesting and very informative lecture. Your insight must be encouraged a lot of students today. Now time is for any query and any question. And I think there is no question from student side. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us your valuable time.
Thank you, dear. Thank you very much. To my blessings to all of you. You rise to occasion. That's my blessing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Now, our organizing committee, for both our speakers, Professor Dr. Jagdamba Singh sir and Professor A.K. Jain sir. Now, I have one more announcement. Tomorrow morning, we have two invited speakers. One is Professor I.R. Siddiqui. He is a very renowned professor of Department of Chemistry, University of Allahabad. And second speaker, Professor K.K. Upadhyay. He is a very energetic and he is a renowned inorganic chemistry expert. Tomorrow morning, we will meet again at 11 p.m. और जाने से पहले मैं दो लाइन बोलना चाहता हूँ सभी पार्टिसिपेंट के लिए। वक्त सबको मिलता है जिंदगी बदलने के लिए, वक्त सबको मिलता है जिंदगी बदलने के लिए, लेकिन जिंदगी दोबारा नहीं मिलती वक्त को बदलने के लिए। Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you.